Welcome back to Culturally Sound. I'm here with Ana Araque from the Imagine Experiences out of London. And what a treat. What a treat. Anna, what inspired you to come up with this creation that inspires and creates memories for those that travel with you?
Hi, I thank you, Chandler. First of all, thank you for having me. I've already had the opportunity to have a chat with you, and you know what? This is fun for me, and I'm just absolutely going to enjoy it. So, listen, thank you
Beautiful.
very much. Um, I'm a big fan as well of what you do, so it's nice to be chatting with a fan, and to be a fan of. Started Imagine Experiences as a challenge, as a reaction, first to the pandemic, and second to the lack of innovation and experiential products in the market. I started to consult. I move on from working for big corporations and big companies with solid, established tools and products, mainstream, back in 2016. And then I started, the first time I hear the word immersive was in 2016 when a company was launching. You probably like it. I think it's a very popular story. They were looking. They had already done a proof of concept of an experience called Somnia, which was Somnia. We know who you be sleeping with. I was nothing to do with what you're thinking of. It was about how people dream and and it was a lot of use of the VR and a lot of use of technology. And for the first time, I realized that, it was, and I remember at the time sharing my experience working with this such innovative concept on the industry, that very traditional industry where I'm from. And I would call it traditional, not on a bad way, or I think we've been spoiled in the industry. We have places like Stonehenge, like Buckingham Palace, like the up to 2019, 41 million people only visit the UK. Is there? They'll come. We have a royal. Have, we have food. We have drink. We have tradition. We have culture, heritage. Why you want to change if it's broken? And the idea
Mhm.
wasn't to change it. Wasn't to make broken. It was almost like turning a normal burger into a street burger. More jalapeno, more
Yes.
cheese, more flavor. It's just a burger, just a better burger. And I thought these consultant people have the tools, they just don't necessarily have what the industry has. These people have the stories, and these people have the tech and the necessity and the incredible desire to entertain in a different approach, right? So I thought, this is going to work. So the IP of the company, it's a company called Layer Reality, by the way, they decided to speak to a gentleman called John Wade, which is on the owner of the music of The War of the Worlds, which is a very, very popular cinema movie. The aliens invading, the story at the time, it was a, I know sustainability is a subject that came up and should never ever disappear. But at the moment, it's really the trend where it's hitting. So it was almost the alien came and how we survive, and it was a story that kind of reflect with a lot of people. And because it was a story that became very, very popular in the 80s. It was really attracting the what I call the fun and relax and retires, between people between 40 and 50 years old. But because the tech was so innovative, it almost became an intergenerational opportunity. Dad, I'm going with you because I know you like the story and I like the tech. And that's what happened. Then another came and another came, and another company called Secret Cinema. I'm not sure you're familiar. Chandler is fantastic. If you have in the UK, you got to do it.
Okay.
You get
Okay.
they call you 4 weeks in advance to tell you which role you're going to play in the movie. And they do Stranger Things, Casino Royale, they recently opened in LA. They do 4 a year, 3 months each. It's just, and you dress and you play the part. And then I realized that immersive had absolutely nothing to do with technology. Immersive is the incredible opportunity to become the character of your own story. You don't
Yes.
want to be you to become from passive listener to active action, active, ita, active, make,
Hmm.
you name it. And
Hmm.
a lot of people came out with a number of concepts, I think back in 2019, 2020, with the locals, off the beaten track. I think they were just kind of cashing up, trying to understand what it is that the travelers want here. I
Hmm.
realized, I mean, 5 years later, not necessarily then, that travelers were shouting, I've already been 5 times in that city. Show me something else. Let me discover the way people eat, live. Let me learn it. Let me do it. I don't want to eat pizza. I want to make it. I don't want, I don't want to hear about James Bond. I want to be James. We all want to be James Bond. Come on, it's the only reason people wear a tuxedo. Is that you want to
Of
compete
course.
anybody wear a tuxedo? You tell them he's going to be James Bond, and I think I started to see all those flavors coming. I started to see all the ways to improve and to match it with tourism and to get those incredible stories that are already there and match them. And then I found myself in March 2020 sitting at home doing not much. I hear
Like us all.
exactly. I hear a webinar like we all did. It was the era of the webinars and the quarantinis.
Mm.
Everybody having a cocktail on Friday, but I was left.
Right.
They didn't drink
Yes.
Monday to Thursday. And then somebody that I absolutely love and respect, a visionary, a gentleman called Peter Syme, who understands camels and technology and he adventure and wine and whiskey, Scottish guy. He said to me, he was on the webinar, and it was an organization called Arrival that get together all tours and experiences around the world. And
Hmm.
he
Hmm.
said there, the future of tourism is small groups doing experiential things, discovering and doing it together. And people are
Yeah.
going to want to do it with people for different reasons because they don't know these people, because they love these people. There are two reasons they're going to travel with them because they have nothing to do with them or because they love them. So that's when I thought, you know what? Every supplier was closed. It was just, don't even take me there. The challenges to find the toilet open and all that kind of things was very. Our first meeting took place. I just kind of I think I'm jumping a bit the thing. You just
I think
do it.
you're doing fine. I think you're doing fine. I think
I
the
did it because I think it was needed. The market, the travelers were desperately asking for it, and the
Mhm.
technology was just running out there on the back, getting better and better, and just give me time. I never had that lovely thing called time, and I had loads
Yes.
of it. So I guess I answered the first question.
Yes. And I mean, you covered a lot of ground there. So, I mean, a couple of things that I want to pull on would be the experiences. And I mean, you sort of detailed they either don't know them or they know them and they want to have the experience with them. But I mean that don't know them group, but they have something in common, which is the curiosity about another place, another space, another experience. And I think that community is the component that might have been the one thing that we discovered during COVID that we really found lacking. And if we weren't lonely before, we sure were lonely during that period of time. And we came out of it. And I think this is the boom that travel experienced is there are all these things that I've never gotten to see, I've never gotten to experience, and I want to participate. I want my life to be full of participation. And I think that's exactly what you're offering, which makes it just so brilliant and so needed
Thank you.
in the space.
So
So we've
the
sort of
journey,
talked about,
yeah,
yeah, please.
the journey started with a number of ideas. So
Mhm.
I've always been a fan of James Bond. When I was
Okay.
8, instead of getting a Barbie, I got a book from John Le Carre that my father gave me. He was into the thing. Or the five, how do you call it? The five riders of the apocalypse, which was a story of KGB and reading
Yes.
this. I just loved it. And looking back, I do remember that the love for James Bond was that I was skiing, I was in Thailand, I was traveling across all those countries where he was going, and I was there with him. So I thought, what could represent better I had a number of people that were working with me at the time, and not the company, and some of the guides. Remember, it was a great deal of talent sitting at home, not doing much, and desperate just do something. Let's do something. Let's start with a brand. Let's understand what we're doing, so we got some time to do the brand. But we find ourselves with subjects, British subjects that we could just expand them. And the first was what? Yes, the first. You know what? It remains our bestseller. Would you like to be James Bond for one day? What James Bond
Mhm.
would do if you had a day off? And it was about elegance. It was about I don't drinking the martini. It was about and the product is that the experience starts in a private club in Whitehall, which was frequent, still frequent by intelligence. Was donated. It used to be the center of interrogation of Great Scotland Yard, and it was donated by the Queen to the enforcement community to have fun.
Hmm.
And that's what we do. We have breakfast there, and then we move to the Royal Horse Guard, which is the actual house of M and C, no C, C, the Earl of Cumming, M and C. All these people live. All these people were real, and we compare the reality with the fiction because Ian Fleming was an agent. He was an agent. He designed 27 bunkers plans that he presented to Winston Churchill. One of them was implemented and it was made into a movie. I'm sure if you've seen it, called Operation Mincemeat with Colin Firth. Incredible story, World War II. So literally a lot of what you take in James Bond is Ian Fleming wanted to be that. He was already a suave man that liked to,
Mhm.
sleep around with a number of committed ladies, drink and drink and smoke cigars, and a lot of that charm and an incredible sense of adventure was translated from his life into his character. But more amazing is that he was an agent. He was on the intelligence naval during World War II, and
Mhm.
his experiences and his life can be linked to Winston Churchill. So in the whole journey where you become Bond for a Day, you learn about World War II. You learn we take our customers to do QMB, which is Quota National Combat, and you learn why not a Beretta and a Walter PPK, and you learn about Uzis, and you learn about yes, even our American U.S. Visitors, they all said we have shoot before. We shoot a lot in the US, but in here this is not about shooting. This is about learning what that weapon is for that, that's for that, who uses that and why, and how to. And then we move from that. We kind of understood now the process of creation and design. We call it the electrocardiogram, and it's all about your heart beating, and it's all about um, you do something that is incredibly interesting. You go and
Mhm.
have breakfast with all our guides are actually Bond fans or actors or ex policemen or they members of the club. Um, so they spend the morning having, we call it the breakfast briefing, and it's like you handle and we talk about how espionage work and how London is a city of espionage and how many stories have been linked to it. So many trivia. Our customers love trivia, story that they don't know. So they go through that with the hard bombs when they shoot, and then we take them to Florence, which is the perfume of the royal family, and then all of a sudden you walk into that place, which is amazing. It's been making the perfumes of Laura Nightingale and Marilyn Monroe, Sean Connery, and all these people. And we realized that Ian Fleming gave his scent to his character James Bond and his floor is 89. They get to smell like Bond. They get to listen to the stories where Ian Fleming said, that Scottish man never going to be James Bond. He wanted Noel Coward, his neighbor, there in the Golden Eye. That was his first house when he wrote the first book. And you listen to all the stuff. But at the same time, that place is across the road, a nightclub called Trump, where Prince Andrew gave a very famous interview. And then
Mhm.
you talk about how a very famous character called Lady Diana walking to there, have her perfume, and apparently she would turn up on Friday, and some other lady will turn up on Monday, and all the stories linked to perfume because each of those people made, and you see that memorabilia book that says Princess Elizabeth crossed Queen Elizabeth. So she was taken there as a child to have her scent, and people love to be wrapped into that. It's almost charming.
Of
The whole
course.
street the whole street is called St. German Street, and there is books being written about the people that live there, the stories. You go around the corner, and you have the ancient wine merchant that has bottles of wine that have 400 years and all kind of. You pass to Davidoff that tell you thank you for smoking, and you have the chair where Winston Churchill hold had, and our customers love to be part of it, and then is the social media, the Instagram opportunity. I'm about
Yes.
to tell people that I'm doing all those things. I'm sharing it with the loved ones. I mean, if I'm not here, they'll hear about me. And if I'm a
Hmm.
boring person back home, I'm going to see how cool I am. I'm the cool person here. And the wives are going to prove to the other wives that they just, you can see their faces looking at their husbands and how they
Mm.
purchased the most incredible present, and they are very proud of themselves. And then
Hmm.
they cross the park and they have the Buckingham Palace image, and you talk about the docks, that the best docks fed apparently because St James's Park is where the spies sit to eat the sandwiches, but they don't eat them. They throw them on the floor and the dogs eat. You cross and you end up having you go to Savile Row, of course, just to find out that Savile Row doesn't make James Bond suits. Is Huntsman from the movie Kingsman, and then
Right.
they pass through the Aston Martin, and we tell you about the stories behind why Aston Martin and no Bentley. And then we end up in a place called the House of Spies by a book by a writer. It's a hotel. It's called House and Thames, but it's traditionally known as a place where spies used to meet during World War II, before MI6 existed. Used to call the SOE, the special execs used to meet there. Winston Churchill used to drink there. As soon as you walk into the lobby, you see a door, a white door, which is supposed to be the place where the royal family is going to be evacuated, where Germany would have invaded. So it's a lot of story that been told.
Wow.
You not just James Bond. You got a menu where you open the cocktails and you can order the favorite cocktail of one of the top five Cambridge, which are five British uh, um, members of the government that spy for Russia for more than 50 years, and they were in the 80s. Have to the prime minister had to apologize for not finding out earlier. So it's a lot of, and you discover that Vespa is a woman, is a martini, but it's the only woman that Bond developed. And you know what? They end up there with our guys, and they eat and they drink, and it's a full on day. We realized that that was amazing, that we all thought for it, that they were in the car, they can hear the music, they know the music, they know 27 costumes made for Dr. No. And we had a lot of passion, but we realized that the Bond fans were loving it, but the non-Bond fans were loving it even more because they got to be Bond.
Yes.
Um, and you know what? We work with that a lot. We create the music, then we do City of Spies in the evening too, because they wanted to hear about the five Cambridge and Mr. Garble and all the World War II stories. And then we went to Scotland, and we realized that how you how you create your wand if you want to be a real,
Hmm.
and the importance of the wood. And one thing we realized is that people never wanted to have a wand for themselves. I'm making it for my daughter, I'm making it for my sister, and we wrap them in small boxes and they take them home and they send them messages. We love that. We enjoy the moment. I have to admit, I did enjoy myself putting stones and glue and going, with the spells. And you realize that every name, I'm not proud, but it's a reality. Every name that was taken from J.K. Rowling to the books was taken for a cemetery. And all these people actually existed and die, and they're all in the same cemetery. It's totally hilarious. And
That's crazy.
all that trivia making people feel part of that. Sherlock
Hmm.
Holmes. Sherlock Holmes have disappeared, and Joseph Bell, which is the character that inspired Arthur Conan Doyle. to create Sherlock Holmes. He's the one who need to find them, and the customers need to start at the morgue, and they're at the morgue, and they need to, and they are part of the story. They are, it's something in there. We realized that was amazing, but back in October 2003, we started to discover that we could boost that. We can get better. We're going to get better. This have to We have to take this to a new level. People already love it. The industry took a while to take it, and um, it was always about getting the right people, getting the right cars, getting the finance, the services, making sure that all
Yeah.
this work, the operational side of it. Because I have to be honest, I'm very good for the creative side of things, but the boring side of things, I'm terrible for it. So I was like,
It's
oh my God, the
that's
operation, how we do that? I have to remove myself a lot from the actual creation and just making sure that the day to day where it's supposed to be, that the speedboats, where
mhm,
everything, the rain, the weather, when you deliver experiences in a city where it rains more than we hope for, you have to
yes.
just keep your eyes on the ball. Um, as you said, I would not call myself a solopreneur. I would call myself a small business owner. It's lonely. It's difficult.
Mm,
Um, I don't know if you got kids. I haven't got kids, but people that have got kids said that it's like having a business. You never go on holiday. You just look after your kids or your business from a different location. Um, so it was like that. Not much of a life. I haven't been in a proper holiday for about 3 years. But every time I see it and I think about a new story and how we can make it even better for a customer, that's what really, really drives me in the business. Then the new
mhm,
era of product was born. We know what we're going to do. We're just going to work, collaborate with a company that can make that dream for us come true. So we partner with a tech developer called Otura. Otura is the people that launch already the robo taxis in San Francisco. And you just
okay.
get your car, he opens the door, he knows where you're going, he knows you. And we are about to launch now, I think in about 2, 3, 4 weeks, we are about to launch another 17 new products, a new generation of products in which we have managed to insert. We have designed in partnership with Otura a platform that allowed us to produce 8 different levels of interaction in different points. So back to what I was telling you about Secret Cinema, I thought that why would have to deprive travelers from the preparation? It's nothing
Mhm,
more beautiful when you're going out and what you're going to wear. I mean, at least for the ladies, but for the gentlemen, it's like who's going to come? My maid is coming. What beer? Or if you're going to go and watch the match with your friends, who's going to come in which table? Or who's coming? Which joke we're going to have? The actual thinking about that moment that you're going to have is already a great experience. So we're going to do that. We're going to get our customers involved since the moment of the booking. In tourism, we call that period that goes from the moment you booked to the moment you actually start your experience. We call it the booking horizon. Most of our customers are from North America, US, and
mhm,
Canada, which are being
mhm,
probably much faster waking up to innovation. They're being early adopters. Give me, I want more. Uh, um, Obviously, there is great ties of culture between Canada and the UK. So we were even able to go there and explore more subjects. So our first product of what I call it a new era is the ultimate Bath and Mary Shelley Jane Austen experience. So
okay, interesting.
we this I know crazy. We brought those two ladies to life. We know where they live. We don't know if they were friends. There isn't any history, anything that said they were friends. Very different characters. One was the author of Frankenstein, and the other one is the author of Pride and Prejudice. Live, same era, kind of same area. And what we did is we brought characters to life. We got engaged with a platform called Hydra, Voices, Elevate. We create them a voice, we generate their audios. And when you book an experience with us, for example, in the case of James Bond, you get Miss Moneypenny. So Miss Moneypenny talk to you like you're James. But if you book the Ultimate Bath experience, you're going to get either Jane Austen or you going to get Mary Shelley. And Mary Shelley is a suffragette, she's an aristocrat, she's forceful. And Jane Austen is forceful, but she's a Christian girl, she's from a middle class family, her approach are very different. And the bickering among themselves, how they present things. Oh, uh, Mary, don't you think we should tell our travelers about the lovely cafeteria in the corner? They don't have to do anything. The beautiful beverage from the West Indies get given to them, even with a mousse at the top. Very velvety. And Mary Shelley goes, that's all you care about it. Food and drink and society. And and you they get involved on that. And that AI assistant, which is a AI guy, Mary Shelley said, welcome to the ultimate bathroom experience. I know, Chandler, that you come in with your wife, and I know you're vegetarian, so I won't be suggesting any meat. But what about a good portion of meat was in our times? And she started talking to you like it's 2025, but she knows you. She knows where you're from, your date of birth, and she knows your dietary requirements and who you're traveling with. So what happened is during those 6-8 weeks of the booking horizon, you book in advance, 2-3 months, our customers book in advance. She will tell you where to go, what's the weather. She will send you a workshop on the case of Miss Moneypenny. We said, how do you make the best Vespa Martini? Tips: where would you buy the best leather shoes in London if you are a date mom? And literally we engage them with retail, we engage them with videos. So one of the things is a black cab come and pick our customers from wherever they are. There is Wi-Fi in the car. The driver take care of them. He's actually a cabbie. We make sure they're proper Londoners with a proper accent. And they tell them, guys, we are on the way to Bath. It's going to be about 2 hours to get there. There is Wi-Fi. There's plugs in there. Mary Shelley's got something to tell you. We are on the way to Bath. And they get dropped in Bath. They do a tour of Bath with Mary Shelley and another character called Bonash, which is a socialite that used to introduce people to people and help families with not much social background to integrate when they had a lot of money. And all that kind of dynamics of society. And it goes, oh, ladies, these people are visiting. We need to make them welcome. And that pickering, at the same time, we do the customer services through that. Chandler, we know that you got a problem on your knee. Don't forget to bring your flat shoes. So we know you. We are engaged with you. You get to Bath and you do a tour of Bath, either with a guide if you want, or you stay with Mary Shelley. At this point, a lot of people have stayed with the characters. It's almost like they know them. They've been chatting with them for 6 weeks. And then you go to the House of Frankenstein, where the real curator, real guy, take you to Frankenstein Museum, which is an incredible immersive museum. He look at you like it's got a soul. Then you go to the escape room and you need to give him a personality. What if he was Frankenstein was alive, would be a banker? Would he be gay? Would be what it would be? Would have 3 kids, and people have loads of fun. We do it in a smaller groups, in private group. We have discovered there is private groups, and there is private groups of one person. And we ask, sorry, you don't have anyone to go in this tour with? No, I spent the whole week with a lot of people at work, at home. I came for something that I can do on my own. I can have fun on my own. And then I go to you go to the House of Frankenstein, you do your escape room, you're having fun, and then you cross the road and you have what we call a monster afternoon tea because of Frankenstein, but it's because it's going to be a lot of food. You must be hungry. An ale and a glass of champagne, and in a small club called the Bath City Country Club, where a lot of old ladies come and ask you where you're from. And then you drive back. You can have a lot of more stories on the way back. There's a lot for you to find out that what Bath used to be. We talk about the Roman bath. We talk about the fact that the Romans name it a bath because apparently the British or the Anglia at the time, they call it the Albions, used to be called the citizens of Anglia, were not very addicted to wash themselves. So the Romans created bath. And we from that product we departed, and now we're launching Kent wineries, where you have a French Friar Benedict telling you that the British can actually make wine, and he's in Kent. They tell you that Pocahontas live in Kent. We've got 500 years of royal gossip, spill the tea. Old, why Lady Diana checked in at the Ritz by the name of Pocahontas or Pinocchio or and how many parts of her life, and it's all the stories that they love. And we got 17. We got while in the city with Oscar. We've got a Victorian Guiha seances in Scotland, how to make 17th century condoms. They used to make them from the belly of the chips. Come and have dinner with the place where Eisenhower have dinner. And we find that we research, we talk, we work with the tourist boards, we look into the stories. Those stories already existed. They were all there. We just bring them to life. We allowed people to cook. We allowed people to sing. We allowed people to listen to music. And we have the opposite, like I tell you. And that's what I call it. I think in 22, 23, period
Mhm.
24, we were all about the experience economy. Like you describe it so beautifully at the beginning. We were so isolated in our places for so long that we went out almost desperate looking for craving company, craving socializing, craving company and sharing. At some point we realized that we had 22 and 23 to understand what makes us happier, where we feel more comfortable, when the level of craviness passed, the peace came down, and we realized that we moved from the experience economy to the emotional economy. Why do I travel? Um, I'm a solo mother. I'm at home. I'm a mother. I cook. I I travel. I work. I just have to bring the kids. I just want to travel on my own for a week with people that doesn't know me, doesn't judge me, doesn't people that are going to have fun with me, and then I'm going to go on a tour with five other ladies I never see in my life, and I probably never see again. But that's the beauty of it. Nobody's going to judge me. I can be anything I want. For a week, I'm not a mother. For a week, I'm not a CEO. We've got a lady, um, celebrity. She said, for a week, I'm not going to be a famous US comedian. I'm just going to be me. And she was delighted that we didn't recognize her. A lot of people said, I didn't see her before. I said, no, just leave her alone. She just want to do the Gene Craze tour, and she was
Yes.
totally laughing on the Gene Craze tour, where she was totally the lovely beer lane and the lovely Gene Craze, where the government have to do something because a woman killed
Mhm.
her kid to sell the clothes to buy gin. The Gene Craze. It was a historical moment of England and how it's linked to everything that we are and what we do now. Sustainability, whiskey, distilleries, Harry Potter. The stories were there waiting for us. We work very closely as well with venues. We work with a venue called Blenheim Palace, which is I've seen many stories. Sarah Churchill, Consuelo Vanderbilt, royalty, American royalty. She traveled as a heiress in a boat in the late century to save
Mhm.
to save the state, pretty much the story they wanted to tell in Downton Abbey. These dukes have the titles and the castles, and these heirs have the money, and somebody have and those two intentions meet, and how unhappy she was, but how beautiful she made the castle with all the time and money she had. And Sarah Churchill, which was the great 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 grandmother of Winston Churchill, who was born in that palace and make it the headquarters of MI5 during World War II. He took his family home, which was the Marlborough. The Duke is the house of the Duke of Marlborough. He took it and he made it the headquarters of MI5 because when Hitler was bombarding, he said, "Don't bombard the palace. That's where I'm going to live. So leave it alone." And all those stories, and we bring the characters to tell their stories, how each of them influenced that venue, conservation, preservation, how all of them brought something of their lives into that venue. And the venue has been used for more than 12 films. The Bridgertons, The Diplomat, the still film James Bond Spectre was filmed in there. Of course it is. Um, and now we are launching 17 new products, you name it. We're going from gossip, royal gossip, to making things, to discovering things. A feasting dinner. We realized that it didn't need to be so complicated. We're launching a new product with a very incredible group of storytellers in Scotland. That you get to choose your favorite subject, and you go for dinner in a haunted pub to the person who knows the most about that subject. And you're going to drink and have dinner with a person that's going to be talking to you as a storyteller. It's not complicated. It's not, and all of this, all of these experiences have a character. Mr. Banks, Mr. Banks, the employee of Mary Poppins, he get to tell you
Nice.
about Mr. Banks. Yeah, he get to tell you about pounds and pints. We take you to visit the museum of the Bank of England, and how beer is linked with money, and how those deals were made. And the gin craze has Tom Cat. Tom Cat is an incredible character. I like to tell you, and literally, by the way, I can't wait for you to come to the UK and come in one of our experiences.
I, I don't know if I have enough time to experience all of this. This is incredible. I mean, no shortage of passion for what you're providing. That's very clear. How do you so again covered a lot of ground, but you know, so this was conceptualized back in 2003. We talked about the COVID shutdown in 2020. I mean, an incredibly hard time to say, oh, I'm going to go into travel. I'm going to create a experiential travel company in 2020. I mean, to have that commitment and that willingness to risk. I mean, we knew it would open up eventually, but it wasn't clear when. What inspires you? Like, what from your path gave you the courage and the bravery to start such an ambitious endeavor in 2020?
I probably will start by saying it's been a very, very rocky road. The If it wasn't for the unshakable belief of what we were doing was what the traveler was craving for, we have now, 4 or 5 years later, a number of reports, surveys, studies, London economics, experience. At the time, all we have was our guts, a lot of time,
Mm,
and very little money to and a huge amount of uncertainty. I think the dream kind of started in April. We started and we launched in August. Very little later, 4 weeks later, Prime Minister shut us down, and we thought, okay, so how are we going to, this? How are we going to sell a product that exists in a Word document? Nobody has ever actually done it. It's in our heads. That's all, the only place it
mm.
exists. And we decided to start selling gift vouchers, and we sold many of those. And we realized the customers love this. They want this. They want to give people something that they're going to remember. There is a memory. I'll give you a pullover for Christmas. Yes, it's lovely. A year later, you have washed it, I don't know, so many times. Memories will always be with you. And I think it was the desire of the loved ones to provide memories to others, because it was a gifting experience. We told people you go 1 year, 2 years, whenever you want, this experience is going to be here for you. Um, Between you and me, we were expecting a much faster release. I remember me saying, "No, by January will be out and about.
Right, right.
This is
Yes.
never going to last that much." Well, it did, um, and allowed us probably the opportunity to create more product, to refine. um, it wasn't. It was very, very touch and go, because what's the point to learn from an audience that might not stay? All the people that
Mhm.
were buying were local domestic. It's very well known that the Brits do not travel within their country, and that's what we set up to do. We said, if we do get the Brits to travel in their own country and fall in love again with their own backyards, we have done our job. But
Hmm.
this is going to disappear as soon as they are allowed to go out. They're going to go to Spain and France, and because as they've always done, they're going to the US. So how are we going to get the international visitors to fall in love with our stories? That was the big gamble. Once this whole emotional ride that we've been on kind of come down, that wave was going to be left for us. And you know
Hmm.
what? It just became stronger and bigger. We realized that in the other side of the pond, the hunger and the crave for fun and entertainment and
Yes.
engagement was much better. The knowledge of the country, uh, um, the average U.S. Canadian citizen would have been in Europe once, twice. They already done what I call the box tickers. They want to discover more a particular region. They want to discover more a particular story. They want to take longer time to spend with the story and with each other. And
Hmm.
that's when we discover our customers, and we start asking them when they came in our tours. The guide would said, "So guys, where are you from? Why are you here? What are you traveling? Why are you traveling? Are you bon fans? Are you in which hotels are you staying?" We realized that they're all staying in the same type of hotels, small Airbnbs. They know what they're doing. They have a bit more of, not necessarily. That's why I call my customers quiet luxury. Quiet luxury is, they a lot of those were couples that, the kids are gone, we got a little bit more of disposable income, or do you know
Hmm.
what, I've got that bonus in December, we deserve that, we're gonna
Hmm.
treat ourselves with something that is worth. A lot of digital nomads, we are here for 3 months, I'm here to discover, bring it on. Sir, do you have a house? No, I don't have a mortgage, I just enjoy my life. We have a lot of um, captain of organizations that need time off. I took 2 months traveling for Europe. Don't call me, just leave me alone. I'm traveling on my own. They
Yep.
don't want to. They don't want to travel with their families. They just want to get to know the people. We've got a lot of solo men, solo women, intergenerational. Like I told you, me and my dad,
Hmm.
we're doing something amazing. Me and my
Yes.
mom, we're going around. We get a lot of Australians intergenerational. They, I love that. Me, my mom, and my daughter, 3 generations traveling together. All of them doing something different. Regency costumes. They take pictures. They love sharing with each other subjects that I asked them, a lot of them. I said, "What inspired you to traveling with your grandma?" She says, "Do you know what? I realized during COVID how little I was, how these people were there and I was not enjoying them enough. And
Yes.
now I'm going for it. That's what I'm going to do. Mortgage, I'll buy a house. The time will come. And if not, my grandma will give me hers after all the fun we're going to have." And just, all that. It was all stories. What our customers have in common is the desire to spend time with each other, whether they know each other
Yes.
or not, discover more, discover better, and be part of the story. How
Hmm.
you how you make venues, cars, guides give you credit, work with you, engage in the story. I think part has been that I've been for so long. I've probably had a bit of a wild card there. I've been engaged in so many projects that have been so successful that
Hmm.
people have kind of level of trust on what I'm going to come with. And at the end, it wasn't about me; it was about historians. And all I did was surrounding myself with incredible, great people, trying to navigate the difficult waters of accounting and money and investment and spending, which still remained very much the hardest part. Um, I find out now that I've got 2 jobs or 3 or 4. And when I'm creating products, this is my holidays. My time off is when I work in product. Um, it's been probably a very, very hard road to understand what it is that mistakes. Oh, I tell you, I opened the backyard of my garden and I just got a graveyard full of products that didn't work, people that wasn't right, decisions that I didn't supposed to make. But one important, I would say, key factor in this journey has been being a member of numbers of organizations that have organizations that have brought either innovation, that drive innovation. One of them is Arrival. They were different. There is a lot of tech systems there that are going to help me to do this better, that's going to facilitate my accounts, or going to facilitate my marketing, or they're going to get me in touch with people that can help me with this and this. Our business model, we do not employ anyone. We work with a number of companies that we see them as the continuation of our company. They love what we do, they see the vision, and to be perfectly honest with you, Chandler, I even forget that they don't work for us. The way they are engaged, I forget. I call them and they make fun of me. Some of them pick the phone and said, "Customer service experiences for Imagine." I said, "Oh, you make me laugh." And then the surge of a different business model on the market has somehow helped me greatly to navigate those waters. Another very interesting organization is called the Entrepreneurs Collective. It's based in the UK and it's a group of entrepreneurs, which has been really good because you got fintech, pharma, gin, toothbrushes, these people that produce all sorts of visionaries that are there providing each other support.
Mhm.
Sometimes things like, guys, last week was horrible. We have this situation, and they all said, Anna, we've all been there. You got this, been there. Few likes for you on LinkedIn, few likes for you from us, few hearts. You got this. Deliveroo is one of them. I said, Anna, we got an offer on KFC that should cheer you up this week. Um, those guys, knowing that there is so much talent in there, um, it's been such a support. And at the same time, for example, you go with your problems, guys. I'm looking for a good solicitor, but I don't want a firm with somebody. I want somebody that understands what we're doing and be dynamic and can jump in the zone with me and work with other people, and then I get what I'm looking for. As I mentioned to you, it's been probably a, a blessing in disguise, but the very unagile kind of not so innovative way that the travel industry have moved along. That's why you always hear travel tech, travel tech, travel tech. You never hear entertainment tech, or you never hear tourism innovation. It's very difficult. The travel industry is used to do the things the way they do. And you know what? If they said people come, people book. And sometimes I said, how many times can you visit the same place the same way? Um, we have done, I would say, fairly fairly good job bringing on board people like TripAdvisors, the Expedia, having what I call a very very decent distribution ecosystem where we put the product in a place and it get pushed across airlines and kayak and these people have been amazing. They understand that curation, emotions, and community is the way forward. But then I discovered that more and more these people were coming together. I myself am a member of about 37 groups of espionage and James Bond. And they're all like, oh my God, did you see the last haircut of Daniel Craig? It's definitely one of, and you know what? There is an element of passion and devotion to those passions. We totally left behind the demographics. We do not care whether our client's age. It's all about psychographics, sports. We're working to in a very interesting project with Wembley Stadium, and the love of football, just on football, or you call it soccer in Canada. You got millions of followers. Imagine that you create an experience where they're going to learn to sing and to drink, and for one day they go. It'd be very terrible if we said become a hooligan for one day. That's not what we want. But we're going to tell them what the culture of football is, and this is what we call it the English game. And when they
Mhm.
go back, it's not about the teams. It's about why the love of football and how you choose your team when you're seven and never leave. um, and that's what we want to do, to show them culture, to show them how to eat, how to drink of the each country, um, and that's what we're moving into communities. I am a fan of influencers. I think the influence. I don't think the influencer is the guy that charges you $50,000 to do an Instagram post. I think an influencer is a lovely lady in a cafeteria on the way from Edinburgh to Inverness. There is a town called Pitlochry. Apparently, she tells
Mhm.
stories to everyone. She's an influencer. She's the best. One of the things that Scotland have to show. The Munster Castle. Those are the influencers, the ones that make sure that you come back because you fall in love with the story and you fall in love with the place. Um, we learned that people were not interested in dates. They don't care that St. Christopher Wren's built St. Paul's Cathedral in whatever year. They care about that. He needed that gig because he was broke and he was about to lose his home. The emotion, that level. And that's what we want to do. We are preparing. We've been probably 2024 was the year of thinking, preparing our new products, learn to work with AI. It's been a collaboration, an incredible collaboration with Otura, in which we learn how to work together. Make so many mistakes in the way, sorting our finances to prepare for the next stop and see what actually growth looks like. What is that? What is that? We're going, things change so fast. I go to bed on a Friday and I wake up on a Monday after I read so many things, thinking differently. At some point, I said, I can't. I need to just stop and choose a strategy. This is what's going to
Mhm.
happen and go for it. Stop. Somebody said to me, stop listening to so many voices. Hear yours, accept advice, use it. Advice is like fruit. If you do not take the skin out, it just doesn't taste the same. So go for it. Go absolutely for it. Mistakes, many. Keep making it, like tons, but moving forward and not trying to dwell on it and doing something that I haven't been very good at, and is develop a thick skin. I get very emotional about things. Now I'm more calm. I think Christmas was good. I slept. I said, Anna, what did you do? I slept a lot, a lot. I eat and I slept. And then come out with a new strategy. So we're ready now. In terms of growth, we're launching in France, quarter 2 of this year. I'm at the moment involved in the Yves Museum of Yves Saint Laurent and Musée Les Invalides, and all those incredible stories. Because France is what we call a beast of stories. Um,
No
the,
kidding.
the first thing we're
Yeah.
going to do, of course, if it works, why not? We're launching a James Bond experience in Chateau de Chantilly, A View to Kill, Roger Moore, not. And then people at the same time, it's called the Chateau de Chantilly because that's where the cream was made. People are going to make cream. People are going to ride horses. People are going to learn about chateau, and they're going to, the guy that aristocrat that is linked to it still be very part of it. We're going to celebrate the Impressionism. We're going to celebrate wine. We're going to celebrate food. We're going to tell people that Paradis Latin. We're going to tell people that the and that's back in Scotland. We're going to tell people that the Museum of Whiskey Heritage was opened by the grace of a Brazilian guy that donated the biggest collection of Scotch in the world. That's why it's called. He every time he speaks, he said, "I knew that this collection needed to come back home." Like
Wow.
in the like, so all those stories, and we can't wait to to invite people to discover our new stories. Um, we've navigating now the very very tricky, difficult waves of growth. Where's the money? The money's here. The money took a while to arrive. We had it to move them around the world. I never learned so much about how to move money around the world, and it's a lesson that I wish I didn't have to learn. There are many, to be honest. 80% of them are like, yeah, I should have known that. I should have known better. This one is like, oh, why you put me through that? Um, being able to understand what we can do. We've got the budget is there. We have thought the finance, but not the finance. Just who's gonna. We need to start analyzing better what we're doing. We need to start making most of the data of what we're doing. We need to find a CRM. We don't have one. We need to capitalize better on communication. We need to approach the corporate market. We pretty much understand now where we want to go into sales and how we're going to engage those people in communities and hopefully
Mhm.
can convert them into ambassadors of our brand and create almost a movement. We have a collection here. Come and help yourself. If it's not something that there is in there that you not like, let us know and we build it. We're going to engage with those customers, but at the same time, we I think which is one that we struggle, and I totally identify with a story that I heard about somebody saying, "How do you speak to your clients?" I don't know how many times we speak into the in travel. It's different. You place your product in a platform that is already doing a lot of the work for you. We're creating a lot of blogs. Blogs are very good. Understanding how Google, how TikTok work, how that's gonna work with our community movement driven strategy. But how do we bring the corporates on? That's the one that I still got a big question mark. And people tell you, I give you leads, I can do this, I can do that, and you say, "Hmm." And you're almost navigating all the things, and you almost feel lost in that. So I'm
Well,
I'm I'm going
I
by
think
areas.
it's I think it's similar to what you've done with your direct clients, right? It's telling the stories of the corporations within the tours that you're providing. And you're integrating that corporation, that brand into the story so that they look to their people and say, here, look about who we are, where we started, where we are, and where we're going. And you tie that together and you serve that on something to them. How could they not bite?
Is intricate. I'm trying to move covering areas like finance, and analytics,
Mhm, mhm,
data. I'm in conversations with an incredible new a
mhm,
startup called Tripian that is working with
mhm.
AI to understand data. Marketing. I told you we're working with an agency to understand our brand, and this is one person who loves it, he breathes it. Uh, but there are areas in which we know we can probably, there is so much out there that we probably don't know, or we are not making the
Of
most of
course,
it.
of
Um,
course. And I mean, I think product, you've pointed to it time and time again. Like that is it sales and marketing and advertising just exposes whether you have good or poor product. But it sounds like you're so product focused that that will really drive the results that you're seeing and the adoption that you're seeing and the love of what you're showcasing and sharing with the community that you're bringing to the experience. And they're able to take that away and then share that, and then that again just exponentially grows what you're trying to offer. And it's brilliant, your willingness to be open to hear the feedback of what they wish, what they wish to experience, what they wish to see, and you're willing to build that for them to come and experience. I mean, that's such a novel thing for someone that leads travel, which is typically and traditionally technologically antiquated. And you're just right there at the tip of the spear, willing to bring that all in and tie it all together, knowing that that's what the clientele of 2025 and 2026 want to have. Now, they don't want to be sat with an AI bot. They want to sit with Mary Shelley, and they want to hear what she would say to them and have that experience with Mary as they travel through the trip. And having that integration, that's what we call maintaining a human in the loop, right? Where it's not set it and forget it, create the tech and just pass it off, and it will tour as it tours. No, you need to be able to have that integration and that personality intertwined and ingrained in what you're offering. And I think that's just simply brilliant. and I mean, it's indicative of the success that you're experiencing. So good on you.
Very, very exciting time, Chandler, because we had, when you just literally kind of know where you want to go, but you don't have the resources to make it happen.
Mm.
When those
Hmm.
things come together and you know you're going to get there, is exciting. It's very exciting for
It
us at
is.
the moment. Just to think about all the things that I need to do before April come, I feel tired, but it's worth it. And as you said, um, I, a lot of people say, "Are you going to do digital? Are you going to do digital?" I says, "I'm just going to let the product tell the story." What I do
Hmm.
think is important, and I think we talked about it before, it was finding the channels, the right channels to communicate
Yes.
that story.
Hmm.
I've got
Hmm.
the product. Where do I take? Where do I place it better? And I'm not
Hmm.
convinced. I've never been that. I think digital is already wearing black because it's moving to death. A lot of people are moving to niche. And a very good colleague that I've mentioned a couple of times. She's incredible, and she runs a podcast called Experience These. Laurie Timoney said to me, if you got a product that you love and you make a
Hmm.
customer happy, you got a team that is happy making it and delivering it, then you got a business. All the rest
Hmm.
will fall into it, and then that's really what we're trying to achieve. Um,
Hmm.
every time a story comes on our lap, which is, and people said, obviously, "Oh, when are you going to Spain?" I said, "Oh my God, I wouldn't know where to start. This is like the mecca of tourism. The how you deal. This is the Vatican
Mm.
of what the Catholics to the Vatican is tourism to the Spanish. The food, the stories, the definitely loads are there, and but we just going to France, taking our steps, trying to grow, not as fast as I would like, but more conscious. There's another lesson that I had to learn. It's not doesn't
Yes.
matter how early you wake up. The bank always will open at 9. And
Yes.
that's what it is. Yeah.
So in all of these experiences, and I mean, I love your willingness to fail, and having the backyard garden with all of the things that have piled up. It's simply brilliant. The fearlessness that you approach this is inspiring, and I think that anyone listening, participating in that fearlessness and that bravery and that courage is something that should absolutely be carried forward. If you were to describe yourself in 3 words, would you be able to narrow it down to just three, or what do you think?
I would say um, create, try, or die.
And I think that's leads nicely into my follow-up question to that is, do you have a guiding quote that you follow, or a mantra or an affirmation or something that sort of guides you and keeps you focused and headed forward?
I've got. I think that quotes are like clothes. You wear them depending the season,
I like
and
it. I
it,
like it.
it and then one thing we have, and we started with, we've got 5 brand values for the company, and every time things go wrong, I just go and I read them, and I go back into. But one of the things I heard, I always said, if you're going through hell, keep going. That one always worked for me. The other one is this too will pass, and
It's a good one.
and the other one is, what's the point to be here if you cannot have fun?
I
and
love that.
and probably the one that overlook all of them is, if you're going to be there, be all there. Don't do things a half. Don't do things, just go with it. Just go with whatever you have.
Yes.
um because anything else would just always make you think, what else could I've done. Just go with whatever we have. I'm not saying it's
All the
good,
way.
I'm not saying it's bad, just go all the way.
Yep. Yep. No, and I absolutely agree. Do you have a morning routine that you follow, or an evening routine? I know, mindfulness was really big coming out of the teens, and cold plunges and those sort of experiences are sort of the rage now. Uh, Journaling. What do you do to sort of calm before the storm type of thing? Is there something that you
Oh,
stick to?
is it,
What
is
does
it,
that
is it,
look
is
like
it,
for you?
is it calm? When it calm? No, I'm joking. Yes, it's do you know one thing? It sounded like a sacrifice, and then it became almost like a weapon. A sacrifice became a weapon, and it was. Um, I don't know if you're aware. The travel industry is a very social industry. There is at least three parties a week, three parties, five theaters, friends. And if there isn't one, it's going to be somebody that's going to call you and ask you, would you like to come for a drink tonight? And I was always the girl there. Let's have the drink. Let's go for the event, which is, in a great way have a great bring me a great deal of friendships that I cherish, and happens to be clients and happen to be suppliers, and people that you might be having a drink, but that's where you're closing the deal. And you have to see that person in an office. You probably have to queue about 2 weeks because he's there having a drink with you. So the famous networking, that we could call it the network.
Yes. Yes.
I'm a good drinker. I do like a drink. I'm not gonna lie. So I always go, I have a drink. One of the routines I gave up that. I realized that every time I was going out, I was waking up a little bit, not feeling myself. It will take me about 11, 12 to kind of be live again. And I
Hmm.
was taking the best hours of my day. And that wasn't helping. I wasn't moving forward. I was just dealing with a great deal of hangover, procrastination, and repentance. So I stopped that. I said I'm just going to choose my events really carefully. My weeks of conferences I'm going to attend really the ones that are got a very particular reason to be there. Um, and it worked. Now I wake up at the same time. I do a lot of from work. I do a lot of remote work. Um, um, I we've got an office, but nobody ever goes. As I said, we've got a lot of contractor companies. People work. We are very global. We go.
Hmm.
One a consultant is in Canada, is in Toronto, so I work in the mornings. We got people in Manchester. We got people around the corner, but then we got people in the US doing PR. So it's a very very spread set of flavors. Um, Eat something, not much. Just not be hungover is great.
Yes.
Get to work, sit down. Before I was working all the time, I was like, oh my God. Now I stop, I have lunch, I watch something, not the news because it's not inspiring. I watch something, I read something, I read stats, I consume stats like it's not tomorrow. I shop. If I travel, I go in a place and I work from wherever I go. I wake up very early and I do 4 hours. And I think that treating my body a little bit better, not giving it
Mm.
late nights, loads of whiskey and champagne and all that, which still, if you're going to launch a gin craze product, of course you have to go to the distillery and do that. A lot of my job is to do food and drink, but I try to do more food
Yes.
than drink. Um,
Hmm.
or for the right reason, I suppose as any opportunity that comes along,
Fair enough.
has an incredible impact. I feel more focused. I feel
Hmm.
healthier. I feel that I've now kind of moved from that go 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 and now taking moments like I did at Christmas, just kind of
Hmm.
disconnect. Adopted no weekends WhatsApps, no keep working, no LinkedIn on Saturday night. A set of numbers of rules, just kind of a um, I have
Some
managed,
boundaries.
yes, creating very strict boundaries, trying not to
Mhm.
get it because it's very very easy to let it go. Um,
Sure is.
And but I think just that giving up the whole socializing in the industry has been key. It's been key. Seeing a lot of projects have been faster and almost looking at me and my time a
Hmm.
bit better, picking better my battles, picking
Hmm.
better my times, attending something because it's worth it, because what's behind, why I'm going there. It's not just, it's the money you spend. Uh, um, exactly. Those
No,
drinks are not free. They're not always free, you know?
absolutely, and depending on who you're drinking with, that can become a very steep bill. So gotta be mindful. The What would you say is the one thing that you're most afraid of, and why? And that can be professionally, personally, as vulnerable as you want to get with us here.
Do you know what? I think part of being fearless is being afraid the whole time. I'm always afraid. Every time I do a campaign, I just thought, you know what? I don't know if that's gonna go. I don't know if that product go, but just present. Um, I used to be afraid of offending people, of not being too honest, no
Mm,
being diplomatic enough, no being nice
mhm.
enough, no. I I'm terribly scared every day not to create a culture where I don't show enough respect for the effort of the people that work for me or with me. I'm very, very sorry sometimes when I cannot give or be everything that I can be for these people, whether are the youngsters that we're going turns that I cannot give them enough time, whether I'm being a bit too overpowering and not let people put their ideas forward. I'm afraid always to be too much when I should take a, you know, I'm a bit much. How do I? And I know it's not making people feel that they cannot be heard, or that I'm not listening to them, or I'm not appreciating them. But at the same time, I think having that very difficult line between being firm with running a business. If this doesn't go well, I'm the one left with the bills, and and at the same time create an environment where people feel they're happy to come and work and do other
It's
things.
a it's a razor's edge, right? But I think you're on the right path when at least you have the awareness and the concern and the humility to have those thoughts, right? And I think, to your earlier point, courage is not the absence of fear; it's the willingness to do it anyway. And I think that's an inspiring point. It's okay to be fearful, and I think that's reasonable. An unreasonable person would not have fear in what you're doing and what you're creating. I think it's the bravery and the courage that allows you to do it anyway. That's the inspiring part. So I mean, brilliant, and honestly, now I'm not sure if you're a Marvel or DC superhero. I mean, James Bond has come up multiple times, but a favorite superhero or someone that inspires you. What would Who would that look like? Someone that you admire. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Oh, I'm a bit vintage, me. Um,
Okay.
I'm a bit vintage. I have a lot of admiration for. I love World War II. I'm a big fan of stories, and I'm a big fan of Winston Churchill. Um, like if you're going through hell, keep going. Um, um, it doesn't get more darker than it's about to dawn. Um, be do it with fear, but do it.
Mm,
A lot of that. I follow a lot of those. Have courage. If you courage alone won't do it. Just put the hard work. Be there. Be grateful with the people that you have around. They're not always going to be tell you what you want to hear, and not
mhm.
everything they will tell you you should hear. I learned those both too. Um, but yeah, I do feel a lot of respect for what he did. Probably too old, a bit vintage. Those days, I feel. a lot of respect for. I'm a big fan of women in business and women trying to change things. And I'm not that I'm into that thing that I love everyone. I'm
Sure,
not
sure.
very passionate about choosing this or be this or not be that. Um, but there is a number of women out there in the industry that I feel very a lot of admiration, and I just
Hmm.
happen to be friends with. So my heroes are closer to me than just the character that I cannot see. And I'm
So
very lucky to have really incredible people behind me.
absolutely, absolutely agree. And I mean, you're the sum of the people that you spend your time with, right? So if you're able to surround yourself with people that you admire and aspire to follow, I mean, you're surrounding yourself with the right people. I your story, your passion, your enthusiasm, your creativity, all of it has just been so inspiring, and I can't thank you enough for your generosity and your time and all that
All
you
my
shared today.
pleasure. This has been my time off. Some people, drink champagne, or I just get Chandler.
Well, and I again thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I had a great time, and as I said, I can't wait for you to just get to. Hopefully, if it's not too soon, you can either get to France or make it to the UK. I definitely can see you being a James Bond for one
I would absolutely love it. Thank you
day.
so much, Anna.
Thank you, Chandler. Thank you so much.